world just went dark. You got 90 seconds. Do you sprint for the military base, or are you just filling that bathtub? Most people, they pick wrong. They're still running on movie brain, where some hero's gonna show up or a system's just gonna work. They don't see the physics of how things break down. They don't get the hidden tax. Here's why your safest bets are the first to fail, and what that's gonna cost you. Number 5, the big box illusion. You think it's a treasure chest, right? Pallets of food, all that inventory, a fortress of supplies. Look, you walk in, you see the shelves, and your brain says, we're good. But you're missing the entire invisible layer of dependencies, the logistics. That's not a self-sustaining system. That's just a snapshot of a highly complex, globally connected supply chain at one moment. You think all those doors are going to hold up under kinetic friction? No shot. The mechanism failure here is simple. It's a target, a big, fat, visible target with low kinetic resistance. It's designed for foot traffic, not sustained defense. The hidden tax isn't just you going hungry. It's your safety, your sanity, trying to fight off what quickly becomes a thermal mob trying to get in. If it's got a public entrance, it's not yours. Ideally, you'd have your own pre-positioned, distributed inventory, secured. If you don't, you're a scavenger, operating in ghost towns, not defending a retail outlet. So, what happens when everybody runs to the biggest, shinest target? Number 4, the vertical coffin. Think your high-rise apartment is a fortress? Think that elevation means security? You're not looking at the pipes, brother. Not seeing the dependencies. Every floor, every unit, it's all tied into a central nervous system. Water, sewer, power, elevators. One pump fails, one pipe bursts, one generator runs dry, and that whole vertical city becomes a giant concrete toilet. You're sharing an ecosystem with hundreds of strangers. The mechanism isn't even external, it's the internal plumbing. The vertical bottleneck for egress, for resource movement, it's social friction too. Put that many stressed people in a box, you'll see a different kind of breakdown. The hidden tax here is disease, thirst, and the pure, grinding social collapse of forced proximity. The decision rule: if you share a pipe with more than 10 people, you're sharing a death sentence. Ideally, you'd have independent water collection and purification, or a ground-level exit strategy. Right now, you need a plan to get out of that building, not fortify it. Number 3, the infection zone. Look, hospitals, they're great when systems are working, when you have bandwidth. They're designed for a controlled stream of patients, with sterile supplies flowing in and waste flowing out. The second that stream becomes a flood, the second the external dependencies fail, that place turns from a place of healing into a petri dish. Doctors, nurses, they're people. They break, they get sick, they leave. The mechanism failure is bandwidth overload and zero-day hygiene breaches. All those sick people, all that kinetic energy, every single infection pathway converging in one place. Staff burnout is real. The hidden tax isn't money. It's guaranteed infection and exposure with no real escape. The decision rule: if the medical system's already overloaded, you're just another mouth, just another body, not a patient. Most people want the noise. If you want the signal, subscribe. Ideally, you'd have a comprehensive personal medical kit and first aid training, or access to a small mobile aid station. No, you can't run to the hospital. You have to be your own first responder. Here is the reality. Number 2, the command breakdown. Military bases, everyone's fantasy safe zone, right? Walls, guns, trained operators. You're thinking order, discipline, and a clear chain of command. And yeah, that's what they're built for. But what happens when the reason for the crisis is something nobody's trained for? Or when that chain of command starts breaking down from internal friction, from politics, from resource strain? A base is still a dependency. It needs fuel, food, morale. And internal dependencies can be just as deadly as external ones.
The mechanism failure is internal command and control. Zero-day scenarios hit everyone. Your kinetic energy is now their kinetic energy. The hidden tax isn't just losing your freedom, it's conscription into someone else's fight, becoming a resource instead of a person, and potentially facing internal betrayal when the system gets stressed enough. The decision rule: if it's not your chain of command, you're a warm body to be deployed, not protected. Ideally, you'd have a pre-established, trusted network, or you're part of a small, mobile, self-sufficient team. A base is a fortress for its own, not for you. You're just a liability they'll eventually exploit. Stop. Look at the math. Number 1, the isolation trap. You saw all these fail, right? So now your brain's telling you to go off-grid, isolated, total self-sufficiency. Cabin in the woods, alone. That's your most dangerous bet, because the greatest threat isn't the walking dead or the scarcity or the mobs. It's your own mind. It's mental entropy. It's the normalcy bias that keeps you from acting before the crunch, and then the crushing weight of isolation after it hits. The mechanism of failure here is psychological. Humans are social creatures. Extreme isolation grinds you down. It degrades your skills, feeds paranoia, and removes all external signal. You become a single point of failure, both physically and mentally. No one to watch your back, no one to bounce ideas off, no one to share the load when the hidden tax of survival starts draining your sanity. The decision rule? If you're alone, you are the single point of failure. You're eating your own resource. Ideally, you'd be part of a small, trusted, distributed community, or at least have a robust network for reconnaissance and trade. Right now, you need to build your human network, not just your gear inventory. Tonight, I want you to go look at your main water shutoff valve. Find it. Then, tell me this. What's the toughest dependency you're truly willing to cut right now, and what are you replacing it with?